Hi players, bonjour from Paris, my name is Aswell and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today I'm going to review DeckHand that was designed by Batiste Bieler, who is also the artist and also the publisher. Ready to see what this game is all about? Let the easy review begin. DeckHand is, what a surprise, a deck building game for 2 to 4 players where your goal is to have the better deck that has the most hooks in it. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to receive 1 gold from the main bank and also 4 cards. At the beginning of the game, it's going to be these 4 cards that are 2 Celebrate and 2 Fist Fight. You're going to mix them together and that will create your initial deck. In your turn, after you discarded your hand, but obviously this is the first turn, so we're empty, you're going to draw 3 cards and then you will have 2 possibilities. Either you're going to play one of these cards or you're going to buy 1 card from the supply. After each time you've bought a card from the supply, you will have to replenish the supply from the supply deck and you will buy cards with the gold that you're having and of course paying the price that is stated on the right bottom part of the cards themselves. So for example, an average turn can look like this. Let's say that we have decided to play the Fist Fight card. So you're going to put it right over here. Then you'll be able to take 1 gold from the bank. So you're going to add it right over here. And then as a second action, you'll be able to spend this 2 gold and take one of the cards that of course has the price of 2. So it's going to be either this one or this one that I had my eyes on it that is called Improvise Grenade. Once you're taking this card, you're going to add it to the stash that you're having over here. That is basically your discard pile. And of course, since we just bought a card, we're going to replenish the supply with the cards from the supply deck. And of course, now that the other player is going to play, he's going to do pretty much the same thing, or he's going to play 2 cards from his hand. And then when it's our turn again, first of all, we're going to now discard our hand. Then we're going to draw 3 cards. So this is the first one. Since we don't have any more cards in our deck, we're going to shuffle all the cards that we have in our stash, in our discard pile, and we're going to complete drawing more cards. So right now we have 1, and we're going to draw 2 more. So this is 1 and this is 2. And then we're going to repeat everything that we did in the first round. So either we're going to play one of these cards that we have in our hand, or we're just going to buy another card from the supply. Obviously, I don't have here much gold, so buying will be a little bit problematic right now. The end game is going to be triggered once the supply deck is empty. That means that the current player will finish his turn and all the other players will take one last turn, one last action, and then the game will be over and the winner will be the person that has the most hooks in their deck, and we have a few tie breakers. So let's start with the things that I actually liked in this game, and actually I liked a lot. So as you already can see behind me, this is not the usual type of games that I'm playing. This is on a much smaller scale that we can say with much less components or whatever you want to call it. But this is one of the things that I actually like in DeckHand, that this is a small game. And to be honest with you guys, recently I find myself more and more falling in love with this type of small games for 2 reasons. First of all, because I'm a traveler and I just love taking games with me when I go to one of my hikes, because I'm a trekker. So when I go to the mountains with my girlfriend and we actually just want to relax after a long day of trekking, this is one of the things that I like to do, is to play. And obviously I'm in need of something that doesn't take a lot of space and doesn't weigh a lot. So in this case, this is perfect. Second thing is that not every game has to be so heavy, not every game has to have like a 30 or 40 minutes of setup. Sometimes you just like coming back home, you want to pass a nice time after dinner or whatever in the middle of the day, you have some time and you're like, hey, you know what? I have this game. And I like this because of course, this is only cards and this is a deck building game. So what? The setup time over here is 2 minutes. You're just like shuffling the cards and there you go. You're constructing 2 decks and you're set to go. So this is another thing that I super like. But this is more general, so let's go dive in a little bit more into this game specifically. First of all, you guys, visually, the art over here, guys, the art, it just gives me a little bit this feeling of Game of Thrones. I don't know, I mean, not the board game, just like the series, or I don't know what. I just look at this and it feels good, you know? And every card here is completely unique, so you will not have here the same card twice. Of course, I'm not talking about the basic cards that we saw at the beginning of the game, but just like every card over here is just going to be different. So yeah, of course, the effects will repeat themselves, I mean, in different ways, but just it's so pleasing to the eye to have here all the cards with different art, and they're unique. Another thing that I liked in this game is actually the theme, which can connect also to the art itself. And the thing is that I feel that, well, obviously, especially with mechanisms, games tend to a little bit repeat themselves, you know? So with all due respect to the designer, it's not like he invented here the wheel with a new mechanism. This is a deck builder. But I really feel that when you're playing this game, the theme, like you go into it, you know, and it's going to help you actually to be like more a little bit involved in the game, and you don't feel that you're playing here just another generic game. For you, it feels like something a bit more unique. And I think that the two things that are contributing over here is the fact that the cards are unique and the beautiful art. So on top of the beautiful art, what I like about this game is that each card is going to have maybe different things that you'll be able to do. I mean, each card is unique, but the actions still remain the same. They're going to conclude by taking the coins or steal from someone else. They're going to make you do something to another player's cards or to your cards, but the thing that you're going to do in this game are going to be pretty much the same, which is something that I would like to refer to it right now as something positive, because the game is not complicated, which is great because not every game has to have like a, I don't know, like a 30-page rulebook. And this is, can you hear this? This is the rulebook, okay? This is a small page on both sides, and okay, of course, the designer here had the will, okay, to have something that is like small, that will go into this deck of cards and will not take a lot of space and weight and whatever. So yeah, maybe if this was a normal game, I would have expected to elaborate on a few things a little bit more, but you're reading this the first time, you're like, okay, I think I got it. Then you're doing the setup, you're starting to play like the first, second turn, you may be going to refer to this rule book, a rule page, okay, 1 or 2 more times, and then you're like, you know what, I think I got it. So this is something that you're going to use it one time, and then you're going to basically get rid of it. No, not really get rid of it, but you know, you'll not be needing it very often, because all of the information is on the cards, and the action, like you just don't have a lot of actions. So this is something that is going to contribute to the simplicity of the game. But on the other hand, this is not like a 10 minutes card game, because there is a little bit more depth over here. Let me bring you back again to the table, because you have here a few mechanisms, and one of them, for example, is what you can see right over here. And that means that you'll be able to, let's say that you play this card, you'll be able to take one of the cards and put it actually not in the supply deck, but in the reload deck. That is basically all the other cards in the game, and then you'll be able to open a new one. So that means that this deck, the supply deck, is not going to be finished very quickly, okay? You're going to have some time. Now, from my experience, I've played this game actually a few times, mostly at 2 players. So at the first game, maybe we had a feeling that this is like a 50 minutes game, okay, because we do know the mechanism a little bit. But towards, I don't think the last game, but the one before last game that we've played, it was already in the 30-35 minutes mark. And that is when you already know the game and know the mechanisms a little bit. And obviously, I don't have this game already years. This is a fresh new game. So we felt that when you're playing this a little bit, the time of playing is going to drop. Now, to tell you that this is actually like a filler game, something that you'll play between heavy games, I think it really depends of how good the other players know this game. If you have more seasoned players, then obviously they're going to get it a little bit better. But I don't know, for me it's like between like a filler game and a game that maybe you're going to finish your evening with, or in any case, because if you're playing already 50 minutes or 1 hour, if you're a little bit newer to the game, I don't know if you can consider it really a filler game. So I'm a little bit, I don't know, turned on this one, but it's totally okay with me. What else do I like in this game? Let me show you another thing here that I don't know, it's something here makes me like really the coins. Not only the coins, like how the minimalist this game is, okay? So the coins obviously, as you've seen, is basically the cards. Okay, so what you do when you have like a lot of coins, let's say that you have here 4 coins, there's absolutely no problem because you're just going to turn one of them and that is already 3. So there you go. You don't have here really the need for many cards or something like that, because first of all, obviously you're going to spend gold all the time. So it's not like you can stockpile. It's not like it's going to give you something at the end of the game, because again, your goal is to have as many hooks as possible. But this is just, I don't know, guys, I like it, okay? Maybe you have seen it in other games as well, but this is for me the first time that I'm seeing this. Again, take a look on the back. You know what are the types of the game that I usually play. So seeing something like this is awesome. And if we're already talking about minimalism, then you have here 3 player aids, okay? One of them is like the card's anatomy. Another one is like the breaking, like how your turn is going to be. And then when you flip them around, again, this is gold coins. So I don't know, maybe for you guys, this seems a little bit like trivial. For me, it's like, wow, this is a nice touch. So yeah, maybe it would have been like better, I don't know, or something, not better, like maybe cooler to have your like coins, but you know what? I better have like a small box that can fit in the, like a small compartment in my backpack or something like that, or in my pocket, and not have like something heavier just to have coins. Like the cards for me really doing the trick. So now let's move on to the things I wouldn't say that I didn't like, because first of all, I feel that I haven't spent enough time with this game to really give you what I didn't like or something like this, but from my small experience, what I would have liked to see maybe a little bit different. So first of all, we've talked about how simple the game is, and sometimes it might feel a little bit too simple. Like I wish, of course, when you have here different actions, what I like here is that the cards, like the different actions, you can mix them, you know, so you have really cool combinations. But I feel that if you would have had here maybe like a little bit more actions on the cards themselves, or just like a few more cards that giving you at least one more action, I feel that this game would have been able to be even a little bit more complex without changing it completely. Also, I understand that like adding more cards over here or something like that is like a designer's choice to, again, leave the box as small as possible. So I don't want to like interfere with this too much or something like that. It's just like a basic feeling that I have. Another thing is that if you take a look over the cards over here, we can see that we have here something like a attack, an adventure, and where is it? There is another thing over here. There you go, like a structure, okay? So while attack is very like maybe obvious because this is something that you're going to do to another player, adventure and structure are not so clear. That means that there is not really a meaning to this thing. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with that. Sometimes it's just something that maybe you would like to add as like, I don't know, thematic, but for me, I think it would have been really cool if you can actually take like a structure, you're going to play it to your like playing area, and then maybe later another player can actually attack this place, or you can discard this card in order to have like another type of action or another something that will happen. I think that like this, maybe you would have had another dimension to this game, you know, another layer. The last thing that is, I'm not so sure it's going to be like something that I didn't like, or but more something that I would like to see later on, is the number of players that can participate in this game. So again, from my experience, it's not like this game is not for 2 players, because I think this game works really well for 2 players, but I think that you're going to get more fun with it the more players that you're having. So again, we saw that at 3 players, like we're having much more fun. I didn't play it 4 players, but I can only assume that it's going to enhance the fun even more. And for me, it's like, wow, if this game would have been until like, I don't know, 5 or 6 players, that could have been amazing. So what I do like over here is because all the cards are unique and it's only cards, then I do feel that like there's maybe an horizon, you know, for an expansion. I do feel like that, like if this game would have had an expansion for 5-6 players, that would have been like that could have been amazing, you know, because I do think that the more players you're going to have here, the more like even the aspect of like take that would have been greater, which is I think something that is pretty cool, especially with the pirate theme. Guys, if you've been watching so far, thank you so much for your time. If you learned something new or if you just saw something that you like, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much and see you next time.